Namaskar. Welcome to this session. We have embarked upon the topic of Karmasaya, which is outcome of kleshas. Karma has several connotations. One of the connotation of karma is activity, action that we do. Our activity is karma. Karma is also what we experience in our life by way of pleasure, pain, delusion, success, failure, loss, gain. So, the entire experience of life is also karma. In the sense, karma phala. So the karma phala is also referred to as karma. So karma is activity. Karma is our canvas of experience. Our canvas of life experience in the form of loss and gain and success and failure and pain and pleasure and delusion, delights and sorrows, etc. So that is also called karma. The karma is also Dharma and Adharma, which is at the base of our experience in life. So, the karma, at the outset, let me tell you, it is very complicated concept, and therefore we will have to face it little courageously when we are trying to understand this. So, one of the connotations of karma, which is like fate, our activity, and our experience. So, in short, we can say that these are three dimensions of meanings for the term karma. Our destiny, our activity, our experience in life, and our activity in life. Now, activity in life, whatever it might mean to us, that our activity might be successful or failure, profitable or lossable, giving us gain or giving us loss, giving us name, recognition, or giving us infame. So that's our activity. Now, in the light of Karmasaya that we are going to discuss here, the karma means Dharma and Adharma. Our karma will be always assessed in terms of Dharma and Adharma. Although for us, our karma is assessed by ourselves in the form of success, failure, loss, gain, name, infame, etc. But it is actually Dharma and Adharma. So, man strikes Dharma-Adharma with the help of actions. Virtues and vices respectively evolve and devolve the human being. Our virtues evolve us, our vices devolve us. So man evolves or devolves on account of karma. It is because karma is Dharma-Adharma. So, human plane of consciousness also evolves because of Dharma-Adharma, which is again karma. The seeker of yoga sincerely aims at evolution of consciousness. And here the state is man spiritually evolves by karma, devolves as well by karma. It is only the class of karma which decides whether the consciousness will evolve or consciousness will devolve. Consequently, the man will evolve or man will devolve. According to Adhyatma Shastra, the spiritual literature, the human being alone qualifies to belong to the category called Karmayoni. Human being is bestowed with intelligence whereby human being can use the free will and has some freedom in activity. Man can decide whether I should do this or not do this, whether I should do this way or not this way, that way or not that way. So man is given some free will. That's called karma swatantriya. Independence in exercising karma. The life species which are designated as some subhuman beings they don't have this free will, they don't have this karma swatantriya. The life species which are above and superior to human beings are called gods, deities, demi-deities, semi-deities. So there are three classes of yonis in Adhyatma Shastra. Yonis means the class of life. Yonis means class of life here. There are three classes of life. One is of human being and it is called Karmayoni. The other one is of subhumans, that is called Bhogayoni. And the third one is Daivayoni, that is of Devas, Yakshas, Kinnaras, Gandharvas, Rakshasas, Apsaras and Devatas. So these are the three classes of yonis. The life principle, what is called as Atma, what is called as self, what is called as Purusha Tattva, it is all identical in all the yonis. Be that human being or be that an ant or bacteria or tiniest insect, creature, worm. So the self, the principle of self, which gives the sentiency, which gives the chetana, chaitanya, sajivatvam, sentiency, the status of being living beings, living conditions, life conditions, animations. That principle which is at the center of all kinds of life, from vegetable life, botanical life, biological life, any kind of life. That is identical. It is little strange to understand when it comes to a common man. But the human beings of all strata, they have identical centric entity called self, Atma, Purusha Tattva, Atma Tattva, Chaitanya Tattva. There is no difference whatsoever. And there has been no difference whatsoever in all generations from time without beginning. The same principle, Atma Tattvam, is there even in the Bhogayoni, subhumans, and same Atma Tattva is in Daivayoni, which is superhuman class of living or class of life. So the life might change. Celestial life, terrestrial life, infernal life, botanical life, animal life, whatever kind of life. The Atma Tattva is one and the same. But however, these three life forms, classes of life forms are evolved. Then it is also spoken about there are four kinds of life forms. Adhyatma says about the four kinds as well. So in one perspective, there are three kinds of life forms. Manavayoni, Pashuyoni, Devayoni. Manushya Yoni, Manushya Nimna Yoni, Manushottama no Yoni. So just now we saw that as Karmayoni of human beings, Bhogayoni of subhumans, and Daivayoni of above humans. But then it is also spoken about as four classes. Jarayuja, Andaja, Svedaja, Udbija. So again, Adhyatma speaks about four kinds of lives, in the sense embodiments. So there are some embodiments which are Udbija. Udbija means the seed is broken and the life sprouts from it, such as it happens in vegetable world, botanical world. Because botanical life is life. They are all living creation. They are part of living creation. But how the life comes up is by breaking the seed in the ground. And then you get the sprout, then you get the sapling, then you get the plant, and then you get the tree. So that is called Udbija. It breaks the seed and manifests, the life manifests. We don't see that, or we don't say that botanical seed is life, but it gives birth to life. It's a very strange condition. We don't see animation in that botanical seed which you get in seed merchants, countless types of seeds and classes of seeds. We don't see animation, sign of Chaitanya. However, when they are sown in the ground, at some point in time, we see that there is a sprout, and there is sapling, and there is a plant, and there is a tree, and that all those are part of living creations. Botanical world is living creation. But the seed is not said to be animate. However, the same seed is again part of the tree or plant which you get from the tree. The seed gives birth to tree, and the tree also bears out seeds. And then the botanical cycle is continuing. The point is, the seed is not said to be animate, but the seed gives sprout which is animate, which has animation. That's why it is called Udbija. Then there are life classes called Jarayuja. That means there is a womb in that animal or in that life species, and then something is conceived, and then life is delivered. So that's called Jarayuja. That means life is pregnant. A feminine life is pregnant. Feminine life form is pregnant. And then it delivers a life. So that is called Jarayuja. Then the third class is called Andaja. Anda. Anda means egg. So sometimes we see that the life comes out of egg, such as the case of birds. That they lay eggs, and then the egg is broken and life comes out of it. Like a botanical seed, the egg is also not said to be animate. It doesn't have signs of animation, it doesn't have its own movements. Like animate things have movements, it doesn't have movement, but it gives birth to life. So egg, which seems to be inanimate, gives birth to animation, animate life. So such life forms are called Andaja. And then there are Svedaja kind of animals. The birth is out of blood, or the birth is out of sweat of an animal. They don't need intercourse between the male female kind of life, but out of blood, out of sweat, out of some secretion from that animal, life is formed. That is called Svedaja. Sveda means precisely or literally it is perspiration. Perspiration comes out of a living body, and out of that perspiration comes out life. And therefore Andaja, Svedaja, Jarayuja, Udbhija are four kinds of lives. So that's how the life is. But the centric principle, which is tmatattva, is identical. Be that Daivayoni, be that Manavayoni, be that Pashuyoni, be that vegetable world, be that Andaja, Svedaja, Jarayuja, Udbhija, be that terrestrial creature, be that celestial life, be that infernal life or terrestrial life or celestial life. Life is variegated. Life is variegated, but the centric force of it, Atma-tattva, is absolutely similar, identical, and one and the same. This is what Adhyatma tells us about. Anyway, we human beings belong to Karmayoni. We are said to be in Karmayoni. And therefore we have free will. The other lives, in the form of animals, creatures, birds, they go by their tendency. They have their propensities, they have their tendencies. So they get impulse according to their tendencies. And they are led by their tendencies. They are led by their vasanas. But human being is given a faculty of buddhi. And therefore, the decision is left to human being, which is called karma swatantriya. There is freedom, whether to do something or not to do something, and the way to do in one way or the way to do in another way. Man has been given freedom to decide on it with one's own intelligence. So that is called free will. So we are, human beings are with potential to get transferred into any of the three yonis. Because of our karma, we can go down, we can go up. Human beings can go down to subhuman planes, and human beings can ascend to superhuman celestial planes. So we can be transforming ourselves in life form either into Daivayoni by scaling up, or Yoni, that is subhuman, by slipping down, sliding down. It is because of our free will. Because of free will, we will decide on our actions and activities. So some activities will end up by landing us into Yoni, that is subhuman form, or Yoni, that is higher form. Now, how does this ascendance and descendance takes place? It is because of our Dharma-Adharma. That is what Dharma is, and it is not religion. Dharma is that which helps us scale on higher rungs of our consciousness and also life forms. There is no doubt that life form in the form of the celestial beings is superior to life form of human beings. Human being has limited powers, prowess, but Daivayoni, the celestial beings, have greater powers and prowess. So by dharma, we will be scaling up in our level of consciousness and even go past human level of consciousness and dart into celestial consciousness. Dharma will help us do that. And the adharma will reel us down. So in adharma we have descending movement, and in dharma we are given ascending momentum. That is what dharma is and adharma is. This dimension of meaning will not come to you in religiousness and irreligiousness. Anyway, therefore, since the man is given freedom to ascend and descend, he is given free will. So human being can decide whether to scale up or to scale down, whether to be on ascendance or whether to be in descendance. And for this purpose the free will is given. And let me tell you, in Karma Siddhanta, very important thing to be noted. What is the chance for subhumans to ascend? Because they are not Karmayoni, therefore they don't have free will. They can't decide on doing higher activity and ascending because they go by their tendencies. Is there any scope for subhumans to climb up, or are they eternally there? Are the celestial beings eternally there? Don't they descend? So, listen to this carefully. Whether it is subhuman species of life or life form or superhuman life form, it is all human being. It is human beings by karmas go down to subhuman plane, and it is human beings who climb up and get the celestial status, devatvam. So, the fact of the matter is that those tiny worms and creatures and animals around us, mosquitoes and bugs and flies and whatnot, the birds, sparrows to crows to eagle, etc., animals, cattle, they all have been human beings. And because of their karma, they have gone into those planes of life for experiencing what they should experience out of their deeds, which they committed while they were human beings. They are going to return back to human being after the bhoga is over. So once the mosquito or a bug or insect or any kind of creature, it is there to experience that condition. It is because of the karmas done in human form. And once the fruition is over, they are going to come back to human form. So, what you see as subhumans today, they were humans at some point in time. They were on human plane at some point in time, and because of their karma, because of their adharma, they have gone down to that plane of subhuman level, and they are going to return back like a criminal is given a punishment, and after the sentence is experienced, whatever term, 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, 25 years, then he is out of the prison. So, similarly, once the bhoga is over, that life is going to come back to human form. So, all these subhuman species were earlier, they were all in human forms. They were all human beings. And therefore they had karma freedom, and they opted for karma which would be giving him descendants. And they went down. And then after the karma bhoga is over, then they will be reverting back to human plane, and again do fresh karmas according to their free will, and then again create a room to either to descend or to ascend in life form. It is not only that we were earlier in subhuman forms and today we have evolved to human forms. It is cyclic process. Because many of the pseudo-spiritualists believe that we have traveled through 8.4 million yonis, and from there we have come to become human beings. Because that Purusha Tattva, Atma Tattva is identical. Only the cloth that it wears, when it takes a human body, it wears human cloth in the form of human mind, psyche, consciousness and body, and then gets the free will, commits karmas, and if it qualifies to go down, it goes down, whatever is the sentence, the duration, and then again comes back to human form. Maybe it will go to celestial form, and again that is similarly a bhoga. When that is over, it will come back to again human plane. Bhagavad Gita says, Kshine punye martalokam vishanti. So once your virtue is exhausted in heavens, you come back to human plane. Once you have exhausted your vice, you come back to human plane. So it is human being which is going up and becoming celestial being. It is human being which is going down and becoming subhuman being. But they both will come back to human form. So, mosquitoes and bugs and flies and animals and creatures and birds and plants were earlier human beings. They were in a human form. It is because of their karma they got that sentence, and that's why they became what they became now. Like something became tree, something became insect, something became bird, something became cattle, something became beast, something became bird. It is because of the karma. And when that is exhausted, bhoga is experienced, whatever is the sentence, like a prisoner comes out of prison, after that sentence is over, 5 years, 10 years, 15 years of imprisonment, then that punishment is over, and then the person comes back to society. So all these creatures come back to human plane, and due to their karmas, they either ascend or descend, and then after that is over, bhoga is over, they come back to human form, again start doing karmas, and again start having the movements. And that principle of life which gives the Chaitanya, which gives the sentiency, the Atma Tattvam therein is identical. Be that blue whale to a microscopic life form, bacteria. The principle of Atma Tattva is one and the same. This is what Adhyatma tells us. So it is only because of the Karmayoni we transmigrate from plane to plane, we ascend and descend from plane to plane. So Dharma Shastra tells us, by Dharma you will ascend and by the Adharma you will descend. And this has been corroborated by Bhagavad Gita too, that good deeds will lift us and bad deeds will push us. So it is exalted merit that gives Daivatva. And after the Bhoga is over, it comes back to again human plane. And merit, very strong demerit on the other hand, will push us to infernal plane or animal plane or subhuman plane. And then once the karma phala is over, it will come back to human form. So the subhuman consists of animals, birds, creatures, insects, worms, trees, plants, creepers, etc., etc., etc. The superhuman species consists of gods, demigods, semigods, yaksha, kinnara, gandharva, rakshasa, apsara, and various other forms of celestial beings, which we will be considering later in the third chapter of Yoga Sutras. It will tell us about the living beings on different planes, the 7 planes, heavenly planes. There are different calibers of beings on each of those planes. Bhuvar Loka, Suvar Loka, Maho Loka, Jano Loka, Tapo Loka, Satya Loka. So there are different categories of lives. Their names are given by Bhashyakara Vyasa while he deals with Bhuvana Jnanam. The sutra, Surya Samyamat Bhuvana Jnanam, he explains the 7 planes above and 7 planes below, the 14 Bhuvanas, Bhuhu, Bhuva, Suvaha, Maha, Janaha, Tapaha, Satyam. And then below the Bhuhu, Atala, Vitala, Sutala, Rasatala, Talatala, Mahatala, Patala. So these are 14 planes, and everywhere there are different classes of beings. Anyway, we are not going to consider now in the sense the nomenclatures, designations and their calibers. But anyway, in above plane we have semigods, demigods, yaksha, kinnara, gandharva, rakshasa, apsara, etc. And these lives we have heard about. They have superhuman powers. Human being finds that these are formidable forces. So this is because of the merit and dharma that they go on higher planes. And it is because of the demerit or adharma the life goes on lower planes. So point is, we have to understand Bhogayoni, Karmayoni, Daivayoni. And the mind transmigrates towards either lower planes or higher planes. And that is after death. That is what is called as incarnation. So the human incarnations can descend because of adharma, human incarnations can ascend because of dharma. And this all the karma aspect. So something that was also incidentally information which was due, I gave you in this passage of my talk. Now, coming to little textual purport, Man or human being or any life takes birth. That's the sign of animate creation, that at some point in time there will be birth of that life. And it is true to any life form, botanical to human to subhuman to superhuman, there is a birth. Now what Patanjali is speaking about, the Karmasaya, Karma Vasana, or it could be also called as karma. This is consequence of klesha. The kleshas give rise to karma, you should recall. Now, it is the karma which gives the man birth. So the birth is due to karma. Man, as I said now, evolves because of karma. Man devolves because of karma. Then man dies because of karma. When I say man, it is not just gender there. I am referring to human beings here. So, when there is a life in something, there is also something called as death, inevitable. So the death is also because of karma. When the death, how the death, why the death, in what condition the death, all that is because of karma. So also when I say birth is because of karma, where the birth, how the birth, why the birth, and the birth itself, it is because of karma. So between the birth and death, we have lifespan. So that lifespan is also because of karma. When I say lifespan, it is that lifespan in terms of chronology, number of weeks and number of days and number of weeks and number of months and number of years, number of decades. That's a lifespan. Sometimes number of centuries. In case of botanical world, sometimes the trees are hundreds of years old, thousands of years old. The trees don't die until that time. The time span is over. So that is the lifespan. But it is certain that the life is going to end. In the sense, the death is going to come. Be that botanical life, or be that animal life, or be that human life, or even life of devas. There is a death which is certainty. To any life, the death is certainty. As much as the birth is so indispensable, you can't say that there is a life and it has no birth. The life must have birth. When it has a birth, it must have death. And then between the birth and death, you have lifespan. So that can be the lifespan in the sense giving you a range of in chronological time, and then also experience the condition. A good lifespan, a bad lifespan, in the sense of experience during that lifetime, because life will be getting experience. All life forms have experience. Either they are delightable or sorrowable. Some kind of experience is there between very delightable to very sorrowable. That is called lifespan. Ayuhu. That is also because of karma. So, the karma gives jati, ayur, bhoga in the language of Patanjali. And this is there, janma, mrityu and ayuhu for all living creations. There is no living creation which is eternal. It has a point of birth, it has a point of death. So all the life is not beginningless, and the life is not endless. The life will have a beginning, life will have an end, and between the beginning and end you will have a span in which you have experiences. So, see how the kleshas are playing role for animate creation to be there. And these kleshas are there to human psyche. And it is human psyche which is really manifesting in all forms of life, from botanical life to celestial life to infernal life, any kind of life. By being human beings and by therefore by committing karmas, the life has ascended or descended to various planes. So, the cycle of birth and death is inevitable, unexceptional to any life form. The cycle of birth and death, the death and birth, birth and death and birth. So, this cycle is there. It is all because of karma. The momentum is given to cycle. This cycle is by karma. So karma is endless between life and death. Karma continues after death until next life. Next life, there is onset of new pattern of karma. Until life, it will continue. So, the karma does not leave the life until the life is liberated, and that is why there is something called as moksha purushartha. So it is for that the karma wheel to be put a full stop. Otherwise, life will be rotating in the wheel of karma endlessly. The creation will end, but the cycle of karma will not end. Again, when there is reappearance of creation, because again it is cyclic. Sarga, pralaya, sarga, pralaya, sarga, pralaya. Now, if we are in creation phase, there is going to be end of this creation at some point in time. And then after a while, again, the creation will appear. So just as we have a cycle of day and night, day and night, day and night, birth and death and birth and death and birth and death and birth and death, there is also cycle of creation, dissolution, creation, dissolution, creation, dissolution. So when there is creation, we will be on the wheel of karma. We will have respite during the deluge or during pralaya. There will be little respite. Like we have little respite in our activity when we are fast asleep. When we are in dreamless sleep, our activity ceases for a while, temporarily. But again it begins once you are awake. Similarly, the karma wheel will be constantly given for us to get mounted on it through the cycles of creations and dissolutions. So, the karma is also eternal in one sense. It may not be operative while there is pralayavastha. It will not be only operative, but it is very much there. And that is why one of the very, very, very powerful precept of Karma Siddhanta, which comes in Bhagavad Gita, Nahi kaschid kshanamapi jatuhu tishthatya karma krut. The karma doesn't leave us at all. Not even for a moment. Not even for a moment. Really not even for a moment. Even if you think that by a dreamless sleep you have ceased from activity, it is not true. It is because of the death. If you say it's the end of activity, it is not true. New activity commences after death to transmigrate and then go for reincarnation, either in the same plane of life or higher plane of life or lower plane of life. So we'll be transmigrating from womb to womb, life to life. So even after death, there is no cessation to karma. And therefore, very precise statement, nahi kaschit kshanamapi jatuhu. Not even a moment would pass. Tishthatya karma krut. Without karma, not even a moment would pass. So, the incessant state of karma, as stated in the statement of Bhagavad Gita, seems to be exaggeration, because we think that we find respite at some stage. We think it is hyperbole, but really it is an absolute reality. It's a plain reality, absolute fact, absolute reality, without any exaggeration whatsoever. Karma does not even end at death, neither does it pause even for a moment. Death is more a new beginning than an end, as it seems to be, or as it is taken to be. We think the death is an end. No, death is a new beginning. The karma in one manner or the other, or in one kind or the other, continues and continues and continues incessantly, relentlessly. So Adhyatma identifies several kinds of karmas. Now we don't identify the karma while we are fast asleep. We think all karmas, all activities have ceased, but it is not true. Then on the point of death, we think karmas have got a full stop. It is not true. It might be just a semicolon or comma. Activity is going to continue. So, if it is incessant karma, relentless karma, it is important to know how it is karma, which we think is not a karma. How it is activity when we think it is not an activity, when we are fast asleep, when we are dead, we think there is no activity. And what is really the activity in the form that we deem to take it as end of activity or no activity? So Adhyatma tells us about all this. Listen to this wonderful, wonderful list of activities. Aichhika karma, voluntary activity, that is there in awakeful state, that is there in dreamy state. Anaichhika activity, involuntary. You may not be active while you are fast asleep in dreamless sleep, but your heart is working, lungs are working, yours is working. Are you not responsible for what yours is doing? That is why we are responsible not only for ourselves, for what we personally do, but we are also responsible for something that is done by ours. Our people do it, we are responsible. The child does something, parents are responsible. The parents are interrogated. Parents can be even punished for what their children have done. Children have done out of innocence, ignorance. So some kind of activity which may not be our activity is activity of something integrally ours. The lungs are ours, they are functioning. Heart is ours, it is functioning. Metabolism is ours, it is functioning even in sleep and dreamless sleep. So there are so many involuntary activities going on for which we are responsible. It is our activity. Because the affiliation of we individually, personally with ours is so thick that we are accountable to it. So there are involuntary activities even in comatic state or dreamless sleep. So aichhika karma, anaichhika karma, some karmas are swabhavika karma. Like as I told you about metabolism, the digestive system, the lungs and heart, it is natural that they would be working during the lifespan. They can't say, you are sleeping, let me also have a nap. Then you will pop off. So there are so many karmas called swabhavika karmas. Very natural. It is by one's own nature that there are karmas. Prakrutika karmas. Because of the elemental matter or by elemental gravities on our body and mind, Then there are propensities, natural tendencies within us. So many things which keep on pulsating all the time. So there is prakrutika karma. So aichika, anaichika, swabhavika, prakrutika, naisargika, very natural. So there is a difference between swabhavika karma and naisargika karma, but unfortunately in English both are rendered as natural activities. Something is natural to us and something is natural to nature. So what is natural in nature, what is natural of nature, it is one kind of natural activity. What is natural to us, being man, woman, young, old, strong, weak, etc., that is called individually natural, microcosmic natural. Then naimittika, incidental. There are certain incidental karmas. So it encompasses that all the kinds of karmas, before life, during life, after life, in death, after death, between life, death and life. So these are aichika, anaichika, swabhavika, prakrutika, naisargika, naimittika. Now there is one kind of karma which tells us that the karma remains relentless. In some form or the other, the karma will be on, will be in momentum. It doesn't cease for momentum until we are liberated, what is called as moksha. The momentum will not end until that time. So until one is not liberated, the karma is on and on and on. Life may come and go. Life may appear and disappear. Living might appear and disappear, but the karma doesn't stop. So that is little bit of a preliminary understanding to karma. So we are gradually entering this very terse topic, but very fascinating topic for some, very confounding, confusing topic for some. And for some people perhaps boredom. This is the Karma Siddhanta. So we are just trying to get an entry into the whole Karma Siddhanta. But I think for the session, it is enough. So let's pause here for the time being and let us proceed onwards in understanding, getting some curtain riser. It's a curtain riser, still a curtain riser, not completed. But let's do that in our next session. Namaskar all of you.